Today I got an ES-339 and an ES-335. We're going to talk about the differences and the similarities, which one I dig a little bit more, so stick around. How's it going, y'all? This is Cooper Greenberg here at Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comment on the videos, share the videos, turn your notifications on. All the boring stuff that we say at the beginning of each one, I hope you're subscribed. Please just subscribe. It's easy to do, and we don't bug you too much. So, what are we here for? We're talking about semi-hollow Gibsons, one that's a total classic and one that's kind of an underrated modern classic a little bit. I think a lot of people mention 339s when they come into the store. They talk about, playing 335, 345, all that kind of stuff. Do you have a 339? Oftentimes we do not because they don't come in super often. But I got it now, and I want to talk about what makes them different. I've only played a handful of these, and partially for that reason because we just don't get them super often. But I know a couple people that work at the store that are big fans of them that have owned them, one of which is Chris McKee, and he did have this guitar, and he sold this guitar because of a reason I'll tell you in just a minute. But we recently talked about the 335 versus the 345 as very, very similar guitar kind of comparison. This one has a pretty big difference that you can spot right out the gate. This one's bigger, this one's smaller. That's pretty much what we're getting at here. But some people might enjoy the 339 body a little bit more, not just for a size factor. If you're a smaller person, yes, you might like this one more. But I think the feel of this one is totally different. Kind of the just overall vibe of this guitar is different. I'm going to just run through the specs really quick on the 335. This is just the regular OG Kush 335 and 60s Cherry from the original collection. There's other ones out there. You got the 335 figured. You got the satin. You've got all different kinds of finishes. I think this is pretty much as OG as it gets in the current collection outside of the custom shop. This is just your straightaway ES-335 and 60s Cherry. Semi-hollow guitar. Obviously, these are laminated wood, which is standard for any of the Gibson semi-hollows or hollow bodies. This one is maple, poplar, maple. That's, the top. I recently went to the Collings factory, and I very quickly understood why carved top, like solid wood versions, like their I-35 Deluxe, I understood why they're that much more expensive. But there's nothing wrong with the maple, poplar, maple. That's how they've been doing it. That's every single 335 that's ever been on a famous record ever. I know that's an overgeneralization, but it works, and that's why they do it. This has the calibrated T-type pickups. You got your standard kind of control layout. The big thing with the controls that's going to be different is your input jack's on the top. 339, it's off to the side. It's a smaller body. They can put it on the side, it's fine. And the pickups are different in this one. They both got rounded C necks, and this one has the Clouson style kind of tulip tuners. The other one does not, but let's get into that. So, the 339, this is also in cherry. Decidedly not 60s cherry on the label. This is cherry, we got 60s cherry over there. They do look a little bit different. I think this one looks sharp. Your controls, a little bit pulled in, a little bit closer, which is why Chris McKee sold his 339. That's what made him decide that he did not want it, is because everything was a little too jumbled up. He likes on a 335, it's a little more spread out. I think that's a problem that you get when you're a little more used to a certain style. I am running into that currently because I've been playing my Telecaster a bunch, and recently I've been playing the Strat at a few shows, and it's weird how much it'll kind of trip you up if you're used to a volume knob being a certain place, tone knob, pickup selector being a certain place. It does throw you off. So that's worthwhile to know if you're coming from a 335 and you want to move to a 339. Maybe get one in your hands, try it out. It's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. Also, that's a total minuscule guitar player problem. It's not that big of a deal. You can learn the layout of your new guitar. These pickups are the 57 Classics, and I do think they sound pretty different than the T-types over here. You will kind of hear that, I think, obviously in the demo, but 57s on here, also rounded C-neck. This one's got the Grover Rotomatic tuners, but besides the size, besides the pickups, besides just kind of the layout and I guess the tuners, these should be pretty similar. They're both semi-hollow Gibson in cherry, so it's a color comparison as well. You know, the cherry should impart the same amount of tone. But we're talking about Gibson semi-hollows with humbuckers and cherry, mainly size difference. So let's take a listen. I hope you can hear the difference. I definitely can. Let's check it out. So there you have it. The amp settings were exactly the same on both of these guitars. I got them going through the Blues Junior with the EQ straight up, a little bit of reverb, obviously, but generally clean tone. I like to set it, as we always say, to where the master's down enough and the channel volume is up enough with the fat switch on to where if you really dig in, you get a little extra something, something. That's the sweet spot, and I think the sweet spot in this particular setting, for my own personal taste, was captured better by the 339. Did not expect to say that. I would never be the type that's like, man, I gotta get a 339 one day. But I do think, I have often said, I gotta get a 335 someday, and we've had some really pretty ones in recently. I like the 60s Cherry because it's classic, but the one that you saw in the 345 comparison video was Antique Natural, figure top. I love that guitar. It went to a friend of mine named Jeff, and I hope he digs it. And part of why he kind of went for the 335 from a T5Z, because he was looking for a kind of semi-hollow sort of vibe. Totally different guitars, but the kind of width and size of this guitar, for him, felt better kind of sitting down. You feel like it's kind of, I mean, it's a personal thing, but I do dig the way that this kind of fills the exact space between my knee and kind of my upper torso. I think this one sits better. I like it, and I think part of that is why they're so popular, is because they are thin, they're really comfortable to use and play. So I love the look of the 335. I love the feel of the 335. It's a classic, and I've always wanted one in the collection. But just in terms of sound, I think the 339 won for me today. And like I said, it's a total personal preference thing. It felt like I got the semi-hollow kind of resonance and vibe that I'd want out of something like this, with a little bit more of the push. I think these pickups have a little bit more output. It just felt like I had to play it. I didn't have to play as hard to get to that sweet spot breakup point. Now, it's kind of unfair because if we dialed the amp in exactly to how I wanted it for the 335, things might have been different, but that's kind of the whole point of what we're trying to do, is just plug both guitars in the same amp, play something similar and see which one hits you better. I really liked the sound of this guitar. I think it's also, I mean, it's not wildly different in size, yes, compared to 335. It's a much smaller guitar, but it's still comfortable. It's easy to play. It's almost kind of like, in my eyes, a Les Paul 335 hybrid, kind of closer to the size. Yeah, I think it's probably right in the middle. We can get a measuring tape out and we can really figure it out. But the control situation for me, obviously, I wasn't messing around with the controls. Everything was up at 10. But I think it's comfortable. I think the sound is what really won me over on it. The neck feels exactly the same to me. And I think it's a winner. I think it's a good one. They do make 339s in a few different colors. But like I said, I'm assuming in their factory they make these less frequently than 335s. That's probably their top in numbers manufactured ES model. So you're always going to be able to find a 335 much easier than a 339. But I'm glad we have this one right now. If this is the right one for you, let us know. And we always say in Gibson videos, until the antiquated rules of a geezer's industry catch up to the 21st century, it's not the easiest thing to buy a Gibson online. But if you see it in the video, if you see it present on our website, we probably have it, or we have access to getting one. We have this one right now. There's not a button that says buy now on our website because, like I said, curmudgeons run the game in the guitar world. Some are changing, some are not. I'll leave it at that. But if you see it on the website, we've got it. You can chat with us on there. You can call us. You can come into the store. You can play it. You can get up-close pictures. Same goes for the 335. We've got 45s, 3 and J, if you catch my drift. But in terms of semi-hollows, it's a good time for Alamo Music because 339s, 345s, 335s, satin, casinos, all the good stuff right now is here. So if you are looking for something like that, please give us a call or come into the store because we'd love to help you out. Plug into some cool amps, put some pedals in there, find the right tone for you, find the right feel for you. Because this is a case where if you have not played either of these guitars and you've been dreaming about a Gibson semi-hollow, it's probably worth it to feel them, or at least get a more in-depth kind of understanding of how they're going to feel before just pulling the trigger, because you might be like Jeff or like Chris. They wanted the sound, it wasn't the right thing, so they moved on to something else. And I think that's the fun part. You should be able to look around and do research and get really into it before you make the call. And that's why we're here, because we want to help you get some of that done. So let us know in the comments which one you like more. If you'd like to see some more semi-hollow content, we got plenty of stuff right now, and we're in the business of making fun videos. So if you want to see that stuff, subscribe, comment, let us know what you want to see. We'll make it happen for you. And if you want the specs on either of these guitars or to see what else we have in stock, alamomusic.com, new version out, version 2.0 or like 9.0, whatever. New website's out, easier to find stuff, so go check that out. Message us, tell us all the issues that you have with the website because we're still going to be fixing stuff. So, thank you for watching. See you next time.